Thank you so much for the opportunity. Like, I have been waiting to interview you. You're like such a phenomenal human out here doing it big.
I appreciate that. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. You know, media has always been something that's never that hasn't always been kind to African Americans out here doing it. So black-owned media, whether back then or even now, is always appreciated and welcome. So thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm just gonna announce you because you like spectacular in my eye, like straight up. So program executive for BET, director and producer John Marc Sanfire. Now, am I pronouncing your last name Sanfire or Sanfire?
Sandifer.
Sanfir. I is silent. Okay.
No, Sandifer. Sandifer.
Sandifer. Okay. Phenomenally you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So please tell our viewers the reason that you visited my show today.
I'm here to talk to you about Urban Beauty TV, which is the first and only television show and streaming network dedicated to hair, health, cosmetics, style, and fashion. When you talk about beauty, a lot of people really try to carve it out and just really focus on the makeup and cosmetics. We wanted to really approach it holistically and include, health and wellness and style and fashion in there as well, and just own the entire space. And the platform is really, we've gotten a great response to the platform. We're airing on BT Her right now every Saturday at 10 p.m. So this Saturday, be sure you tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern and watch the show. It's a half-hour show hosted by Midoriya May, Miss Black Virginia. So definitely tune in. Each week, what we do is we focus on profiling, the movers and shakers in the beauty space, from beautypreneurs to health professionals to stylists to salon owners to, just fashionistas all around. And that's the goal, really shedding a spotlight on those who typically don't get the spotlight. The stylists and the fashion designers and the makeup artists are always the most beautiful people in the room, right? On any given set you go to, the hair and makeup department is where it's happening, right?
Right.
I know from being a producer in this industry for a long time, there's nothing I love better than being on set and the set stylist comes up to me and says, "Hey, what size do you wear?" Oh, I love it. I know what comes after that, right?
Right.
I just really wanted to shed a light and really focus on, also a lot of the women and men entrepreneurs in the beauty space that are making great strides, creating these $1 million companies out there, whether it's Mael or Range Beauty, up and coming brands that are just doing really well that don't get the coverage they should get because there's no outlets really designed to showcase them that way. Right. So that's really the reason why we created the show, and that's why I'm here talking to you.
So with this show, what's your demographics? Like, who should tune in to watch?
Oh, young and old. Our core demo is that 25 to 55, with a core space with a median space in that 30 to 35 range. But anyone interested in being entertained, inspired, should tune in. We have several great segments for people to tune into, not just the profiles of up-and-coming beautypreneurs, but also you learn about the different trends and products that are out there right now. And also we have various signature segments. So if you're interested in knowing what your favorite celebrities are doing, we have My Daily Beauty Routine, which features a look at celebrities and what their daily regimens are in terms of skincare, beauty, and health. But then we also have a segment called Ask the Experts, right? Now we all know our people don't get to the doctor as often as we should. Not everyone, not everyone. But for the most part, we've struggled in that space as a community.
Right.
And we all know healthcare is an issue too. So it's just not some of us who just don't want to go. We're not able to go. So we wanted to create a platform where we can answer questions where we see online people are curious about. Right. Plastic surgery is something that's been very taboo in the African American community.
Okay.
Not so much anymore, right?
Right.
But you still have to be careful, right? It's been still, there's the pandemic. We're still in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. There are a lot of unanswered questions there. There are a lot of concerns around vaccination. So beauty holistically is fitness, health, and wellness as well. And that's something that we take very seriously. And as we go into our second season, you'll see us build that out even more and more.
So you said the second season. Who was your favorite showcase from the first season? Can I ask that question?
You're gonna ask me, like, out of everyone we shot, who's my favorite?
Okay.
I have an affinity for all of the entrepreneurs, all of the health professionals, all the celebrities that appeared on season 1. I think everyone brings something different to the table. I think when you watch this show and you hear the stories behind the brands, again, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to create this show. It's one thing to hear, everyone doesn't follow media as closely as you would think, right? So when you're walking through the aisles at Walmart and Target, you don't necessarily know which brands are Black-owned unless you happen to run across something online in your feed or on TV or on the radio where you've heard an interview, where you've heard an interview from one of these founders talking about the brand. You don't know that. There are some pretty incredible stories from the entrepreneurs who are creating these brands, who are on these shelves, whether in Walgreens, Walmart, or Target, or Sally Beauty, or any of these other stores. The stories behind the brands are nothing short of phenomenal on how they found their way there, and the stories of how they've came up with these ideas, and transitioned these ideas from just thoughts to full-fledged businesses. So if you want to be inspired there, you can tune in and get that dose of inspiration each week, and then also learn about the products and learn about the options, learn about how to use them. Clean products, especially what you should be using, what you may want to use, what you may want to try. You know, you're going to get that each week. It's a half-hour show, but it's a magazine format, so you don't tune in and hear the story about 1 or 2 brands. We have about 6 or 7 stories that we fit into that half-hour block each week.
So I did see one of the shows, or a couple of shows, but one that stood out to me is the one with Monica. And she talked about mixing all these different things together and putting it on Instagram, and that's how she jump-started her business. Do you remember that episode?
Of course. I know these episodes like the back of my hand. And you're actually referring to Monique Rodriguez, who is the founder and CEO of Mayel.
Right, Mayel, that's right.
Absolutely. Incredible story. Incredible story. That story is available online right now. So if you go to BET.com, you can watch that episode. The great thing about Monique is she comes from a medical background. She was a nurse, actually, who transitioned into entrepreneurship. And it was something that was a hobby that she was doing in terms of trying to find a product for her hair specifically. And social media played a great role in her story because she used that at a time to connect with an audience.
Right.
And that audience, told Monique, like, hey, these concoctions are great and you tell us how to do it. But, I don't want to do all of this.
Right.
I don't want to mix my own ingredients. Where can we just buy what you're doing? You know what I mean? And the rest is history.
So then she also talked about the light bulb moment. And you talked about that before in one of your interviews when I went in and researched you, that you had a light bulb moment. So can you tell viewers or entrepreneurs or somebody that's just trying their damnedest, I'm sorry for the language, to get a jump start in whatever market they're in, to take that light bulb moment seriously?
First of all, I don't want people to think that there's just one time in their life where this light bulb is going to go off. That's not the case. You can have light bulb moments all the time, but you should take them seriously. Those are spiritual moments. Right. Those are moments when the universe, with the Lord, is speaking to you, like, hey. Because sometimes you have these moments when you have dreams or you have, thoughts, and you don't necessarily think about, where it could lead you to. I think you should take everything seriously. I've never believed in coincidence. I believe everything happens for a reason. And if you have a gut feeling about something, take a chance to explore it. Nobody's saying, just stop everything you're doing, jump in with 2 feet in. No. Do your due diligence,
right?
Explore it, think about it. And another thing we tend to do as just people, not as Black people, but just as human beings, tend to keep things close to the vest.
Mm.
You don't really talk about it. Yeah, you don't talk about it. You have an idea. I'm working on something. I don't really want to say what it is. Sometimes having those conversations with people will help you think it out. It'll help you think out those thoughts. Just talking about it and help it materialize into what it's supposed to be. And don't be afraid to talk to yourself.
Yes. My kids think I'm crazy, okay?
Don't be afraid to talk to yourself. Like, that works as well. You know, you don't have to be in front of a mirror, but
right.
You can go out and sit in front of your house, in front of your apartment, or wherever, car, and at a light, or on your way wherever you're going. Have those conversations, because you know it's nothing but energy to continue those thoughts and start to work out how you can move forward and bring in whatever idea you have to fruition.
Facts. I love that. So you're so knowledgeable and just like well-rounded. And so I do have another question just about the pursuit of. You mentioned in an interview that you kept the footage from the project 40 Acres so you could go back and watch it, knowing that you could possibly get fired. Or, you know.
No. Wait. Go ahead. What's the question that I was clear about? What happened was, but go ahead. Finish the question.
So my question is, why, and was it worth the risk? And the third question to that is, why is it important to take a risk when pursuing your dreams?
All right, so let me explain the situation at 40 Acres, right? So I'm from Harlem, and I got an internship at 40 Acres in Brooklyn. It's all New York, but you know how you have the inner borough thing, the Harlem versus Brooklyn thing. I'm traveling. It took me like an hour and change to get to Brooklyn every day, right? But at the time, while I was, first of all, I interned on Jungle Fever. You familiar with Jungle Fever? Mm-hmm. So I interned on Jungle Fever, and we had locations both in Brooklyn and Harlem. Flipper, Wes Snipes' character, he lived in Harlem. You guys lived in Harlem. So we had locations in both. But let me get right to what you're talking about. So I was actually producing a show on public access at the time. So we're all interns, and I'm an intern in the casting department with Robbie Reed and Andrea Reed and Winston Sinclair. Those are all my big sisters in this industry, still to this day. And that's what 40 Acres afforded us, a chance to really network within the culture and kind of grow together. And that's what we did. But I'm getting off track. Let me come back. So at the time, I'm producing a public access show. And things like this happened to me a couple times in my life, but I digress again. At the time, I'm producing a public access show, which is a TV show at a local cable television company, while also working at 40 Acres as an intern. So I would produce these shows in public access, but the format of the tape was professional. It was a 3/4 tape. The tape was huge, right? It was like a sneaker. It was big. So it wasn't anything that I could kind of bring home from the public access station and play at home for like my mother, grandmother, whoever was at the house.
Right.
So Leander was another intern at 40 Acres. So where I would work on set in the casting office with Robbie Andrea, Tracy Villar, Winston Sinclair, Leander worked in post-production. He was another intern over there. Mind you, let me back up, right? Because working at 40 Acres set a standard for excellence, right? And the way they did that is the particular AD that worked on the set at the time, the first AD, like somebody got fired every day.
What?
Right? Every day.
God, no.
For whatever.
Right.
Whatever. Sometimes it was mistaken identity.
How you
like I'm joking, but it was that serious, right? So what that causes you to do is just be on top of everything.
That's right.
All the time. so I had to be on set typically every day about 5, 6 a.m.
Wow.
Then leave to like 9, 10, 11 that night, turn around, hour back to Harlem, then an hour back to Brooklyn in the morning. So that I just wanted you to know how serious
Right.
things were. Like you come the next day and another intern, PA, somebody's not there, they got fired.
Right.
So you were on top of everything, right? So I go back. So I gave Leander this tape. I said, hey, Leander, I have a tape for my public access show. Can you make a dub for me in the VHS? Can you transfer it?
Mm-hmm.
I said, sure, right? Forgot about it next couple of days because he was going to get to it. I forgot about it. So there's this thing when you're making films, you watch dailies. So are you familiar with dailies?
I've heard briefly about it just through interviews.
So even if the audience may not be aware, when you're filming a movie and you watch dailies is when you finish shooting for the day,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to watch the footage that was shot the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So 40 Acres was on, what was it called? I can't remember. DeKalb. 40 Acres was on DeKalb. LIU was right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Long Island University. So we used to watch our dailies in the theater room
Right.
at LIU. So this particular day, we're watching dailies and we're leaving. And remember, Jungle Fever is Halle Berry's first movie.
Facts. Yes.
So we're coming at it from watching dailies, and Halle's walking in front of me, and we're coming out, and just. So Halle turns to me, and she's like, "Hey, so you know what? Anything?" It was a bright day. It was still, summer days are long days in New York. So you come out of dailies like 7:00. The sun is still out.
Right.
Things are still happening.
Right.
So she's like, "Do you know anything that's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know," but and the thing is, she's not even Halle Berry at this time.
Right.
Like, she's not Halle Berry. She's just Halle Berry. This is her first movie. People are just getting to know her, introducing herself. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure. And I'm not even from Brooklyn. I'm standing there talking to her. And then Monty Ross, Spike's partner and co-producer, says, "Hey, John Marc, can I talk to you for a minute?" And his tone, the way he said it, I felt like it was a situation. You know, somebody can say something, you be like,
Right.
"Oh." And so Halle leaves. I'm like, all right. Monty's like, so hey, are you dubbing some footage in post-production? Is that you? Is that your project that you have going on in there? And in that split second, right? I'm like,
That's right.
because mind you, somebody got fired every day.
Right.
So in this split moment that was really probably a couple minutes that felt like the time between him asking me that and me answering felt like a good couple hours because I'm standing there and I'm wondering, because the first thing that's going through my head is like, okay, I know I'm getting fired.
Right.
So I'm trying to think whether I'm going to go back to the office and clear my stuff.
Already.
All this is going on in my mind, right? I'm trying to think, am I going to go back to the office and clear my stuff out, or I'm just going to get on the train because I don't want to go back and see people. And,
Oh my God.
and I'm like, all this is going on in my mind. And then I thought, like, maybe I can just say, nah, that's not me. Or I can blame Leander. Like, yeah, I don't know what he's doing in there. I gave him the tape, but I don't know. But you know what, though? I was like, you know what? Yeah.
You owned it.
That's me. And at the time, what the footage was is I was hosting a music video show.
Mm-hmm.
So he turns to me and he said, yeah, that I know it was you. I just wanted to see what you were going to say.
Wow.
He said, because I saw the footage. And he just stood there. And he said, you know what? You did a great job. You need to keep up the good work.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah. He said, do you like TV? I said, yeah, I like TV. He's like, yeah, what I saw looked really great. Like, keep up the good work. I was like, okay, all right. And at the time, that was confirmation for me, because even though I was enjoying the learning experience at 40 Acres, I felt like I needed more of a quicker turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the one thing that's great about internships.
Right.
You get a chance to get in and identify not only what you like, but what you don't like.
That's right.
So I enjoyed making that movie and that experience of being at 40 Acres at the time. But what I didn't like was that the process of making movies at the time. It's not a lot quicker now, but it's a little quicker now. But at the time, the process was like a year-long process. You make a movie, and the movie doesn't come out till like a year later.
Right.
If it comes out then, if the studio doesn't hold it for any reason. And I wanted to get into the business of storytelling, but I wanted a quicker turnaround. So at the time, for him to say that to me was confirmation as to what I had been thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a good story.
It's a good story. And I actually had a chance, I think Monty Ross is in Virginia now, and I sat on a panel with him at Hampton University. Had a chance to tell that story. It was the first time he had heard it. So it put a smile on his face, and the story to this day always puts a smile on my face as well.
It's a beautiful story which I did not read the whole story, but I'm like, well, that's interesting. You steal something, basically. But what is the outcome, and was it worth it? So, and here you are now. So it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, it was that confirmation, and that's what led me to TV. And look, at the end of the day, like I always come from a space where, like, even though the heat was on to deliver and not mess up because you would get fired,
right?
Like I've always in that space. I have an intern mentality now as an executive, as the vice president of ET. I have an intern mentality, whereas whatever it takes to get it done, not just get it done, get it done at a high level, high quality level. For the longest, I never had a reel in this business, just because of, a lot of people would recognize me for the work I've done. And that's something that, up and coming in this business, your work is going to speak for you before you even say anything. And I think people need to be cognizant of that, and leave the shortcuts alone, and really succumb to your taste. If you have a taste for the better things, that should weigh over into your work as well.
I love it. You confirmed. So thank you. Okay. That was my confirmation. Okay. No shortcuts. Do what you do at a higher level. Yes, I can
at all times. At all times.
I love that. Thank you. So I always say, whenever I'm feeling like I need to be motivated, I go hang with my media people, because that's where I feel the most elevated. And although you're a certain type of media people, I feel elevated. So thank you so much for that. We're cousins now, okay? So I have one more question about just not just the integrity of starting your own business, but keeping that zeal. So you did mention that you started out working in public access, and then you interned with Spike Lee on Jungle Fever. And how amazing was that? Because like you said, you still have that mentality. So I have no doubt in my mind that you remember this, how amazing it felt to be an intern on that film. And in what ways did it inspire you to want to do more?
Well, at the end of the day, if somebody were to tell my story, I don't know if it would be a Hollywood story. I think my story would be more fitting on like a CNBC, because I think the one thing when you look at what Spike was doing back then, it was kind of in that same space of what was happening in hip hop at that time. And it was not only are we going to put the movie out, we're going to open Spike's joint.
Right.
Paraphernalia and the t-shirts and the hats and then the soundtracks and the music and that's how I look at that. When you look at Urban Beauty TV, that's why we look at it holistically. We're not just going to focus on beauty, makeup, cosmetics, and this. We're going to focus on beauty, health and wellness, style and fashion, holistically. We want to own the space. I think it's a space that has been underserved and underdeveloped. Okay. We want to be able to provide a platform that not only provides resources and directional advice to entrepreneurs, but we also want to be able to, steer them in the direction of really trying to grow their brands and be partners to the brands as well.
Okay, I love it. So then this is going back to the beauty TV and just this whole scope of health and wellness. You moved from one type of entertainment to this. When was this the idea, and when did you put it into motion?
So it's interesting you would say that, because right before I wasn't hired at ET. I was at NTV2. I was recruited to come to Centric. Are you familiar with Centric?
Yes.
So Centric was the name of the network prior to ET. So what Centric was a network, the sister network to BET that catered to the grown and sexy. Right. Whereas ET at the time really focused on, the flagship show, which was 106 & Park, which catered to a younger demo. Centric really focused on that grown and sexy 35, 55-year-old individual viewer. It just so happens that viewer on Centric was probably about 70% African-American women. Right. So when it came time to rebrand the network in 2015, the thoughts were, okay, which direction are we going to go? Well, because our viewership is in that space of 70% African-American, let's dial into that. Let's focus on that. And I'm already Vice President of Music Programming at Centric. So once that became the focus, then I just transferred all the programming over to dial into that space. And dialing into that space put me in rooms and put me in research, just really understanding what the demo of the network would be. And I just found this vast opportunity to really capitalize on the market, like I said, that was underserved. And that's what led me to this space. So I'd say probably 2019, I produced a series called About Her Business. And that show just looked at women entrepreneurs across all platforms, right? From all fields of endeavor. And in looking at that research, we started finding women who were making so many strides, great strides, just in the space of beauty alone. I wanted to dial it in even further and focus on that specific. And that's how we're here. That's how we got here.
That's amazing, because you're a man. But to see that need, that's pretty impressive.
But at the end of the day, I'm a storyteller. And I saw the need just being in the space, just being in the room, hearing the stories behind these brands and knowing that they weren't being told anyplace else. Right. Why not tell it?
I love
Why not create a platform to tell those stories?
Beautiful stories, because I've watched so many stories.
Let me ask you, if it wasn't for Urban Beauty TV, where would you see a profile on Monique Rodriguez? Besides the CNBC.
Sorry?
Where would you see a profile on Monique Rodriguez, the CEO and founder of Mael?
I would not have seen it.
Besides the CNBC, right? So because she's where she is, she warrants that CNBC interview, right?
Right.
But sometimes when you look at that, you don't see a lot of us there.
That's right.
You see one of us there.
Right.
Where can you see a platform where you can see a number of those who are doing it?
That's
and then also some of those who are up and coming and are trending up segment, who are going to be the next round, that next wave of entrepreneurs out there. Right. Where can you learn about products and different, routines and different procedures that are popular, or at least the African American community are curious about, specifically for the culture? That's what Urban Beauty TV is. That's what the show is. It's designed for us.
It is, but when people think about BET, they don't think about the whole scope of BET, of how much it's grown and how many different levels there is to BET. It's not the same network as it was 10 years ago. So I love what you guys have done with that as well. Like BET Her, it's like when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, well, that's different. That's for me. So as a woman, I identify with that. And then I think I interviewed someone, I can't remember exactly off top which show it was, but it was about breast cancer, and it aired on there. But again, if you're not tapped in, you're not gonna know. BET has grown. So I really appreciate what you're doing for women, that you've made it specifically for women, and you're a man working on our behalf. Go on, boy.
I'm trying. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So with that show, like what other shows, or who are the headliners for the next couple of shows that's going to be airing that people should be watching out for?
On the Encore?
Yes.
You gotta tune in. You gotta tune in. I want your viewers really to really, tune into our Instagram,
Right.
At Urban Beauty TV. I want them to subscribe to, youtube.com/Urban Beauty TV Network. Because we're gonna start pushing content out there. We're really gonna start pushing a lot of our content out on YouTube to really grow the online network out there too. So you'll get exclusives that you won't see on BET or there.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. So I'm already subscribed to BET Instagram, of course, because that's where I first saw it, and I'm like, oh, BET her. Okay, that's for me. That's different.
You gotta follow Urban Beauty TV.
Urban BET.
Urban Beauty TV on Instagram and Facebook, and then go to YouTube, Urban Beauty TV Network, and subscribe.
Okay. So going from the days of 106 and Park, like as far as the growth goes, like how do you feel about that?
In terms of what? My growth?
The network.
Oh well, the network is in a great place these days. But I'll give you an exclusive here. You haven't seen the last of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I was one of the senior producers on 106 and Park. It was a great time. It was a great show. Anytime you get a chance to be a part of something that's able to shift the culture at the time,
Right.
very exciting, very uplifting, very aspirational, and we just had a great time, really just showcasing the best of what hip hop and R&B was back then at that time. And it's going to be even more exciting to bring that same energy back to TV. And I can't say any more about that, but look for it fairly soon.
Wow.
And you got to understand too, it's really not as easy to navigate production in this COVID world, right? But we're going to try to launch it in a special way. I'm excited, Free's excited about it. And all I can say is it's coming soon.
That's what's up. That was one of my, a roundabout way. My next question was, what did you miss the most about 106 and Park? So miss it.
The energy, Have you ever had a chance to come to 106 and Park when you were shooting that show?
Yeah, I always wanted to. Always.
When you came in the building was rocking. Like, you feel the energy. Yeah, just from our DJ, whether it's DJ Enough, whether it's AJ and Free on the stage, whether the audience, the 106 and Park audience right there, Freestyle Fridays, like everything about it was lightning.
Right.
Like a bottle of energy every day. It's like coming to work at 106 and Park was like coming to the party every day.
Wow.
Your job was at the party. You created the party for millions of homes around the country.
That was
People
fun.
were home to watch that show at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7:30.
I was one of those people who rushed home from work just to watch it, just to see who was going to be on that sofa with AJ and Free, for sure.
Well, thank you for watching, and stay tuned, because we're going to bring that same energy back.
Oh, you already know, without question. You didn't even have to, like, for real, Free? Okay, I'm there. Say less. So, my last question, where can...
You said that a couple times, your last question.
No, but I be wanting to know. I'm sorry.
No, I'm hanging out. We family, right? We cousins.
North Carolina, we got family here, okay? No, but for real, this is definitely my last question. Just tell people where to tune in, where to follow, just the links again.
Oh, follow us on IG and Facebook at Urban Beauty TV. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Urban Beauty TV Network. And then tune in Saturday night, BET Her at 10 p.m.
I'm done. I'm there. And I gotta stop saying this is my last question. I meant for that topic, okay? Like, that's what I meant, for real. So thank you so much. I had a blast. And I can't wait to tune in to see what you got going on this weekend.
Please do. And then, slide us a DM and let us know what you thought about it. We love to hear it.
Of course, definitely. I'm gonna do that, so don't act surprised, okay?
I won't be surprised. And again, congratulations to you on this platform. I love it. When I'm in Charlotte and I'm coming to the barbecue, just let me know.
High five from a distance.
High five from a distance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.